Richard Moore, North Mississippi Anti-Gang Stalking Association on Facebook, YouTube, United States Anti-Gang Stalking Association. I'm on the hangman's platform here. Of course, there's no rope, there's no noose. But the reality is, of organized criminal stalking, there's always a platform, the hangman is always ready, and the noose, my friends, in most cases, is an invisible weapon of death. The end game for any person that is criminally stalked is for that person to ultimately take their own lives. And the suggested way is suicide, whether it be hanging themselves, overdose, or what have you. That being said, we must realize that this is a very diabolical and evil scheme, sponsored wholly in part by government agencies like the DHS, Department of Homeland Security. Each state has one, and their fusion centers. Go to your search engine, look at your local state DHS Fusion Center website, and just read about their citizen court, their task force, what they provide to federal authorities. And this is how this holistic approach, this is their opinion of the best way of the modern day policing, and it's called a holistic approach. And what that means, ladies and gentlemen, is everyone playing their part, whether it be Walmart, FedEx trucks, AutoZone, and the trucking industry as a whole, taxi cabs. Everybody plays their part in community policing, mental health, by diagnosing you and providing all of this so-called private and confidential information to the data center, and the fusion centers collect this data on every individual, every citizen in the United States, not suspected domestic terrorist, every single American citizen. They have access to all data, your emails, your text messages in real time, your telephone conversations. They have access, thanks to smart meters and the utility companies. Every smart meter is a two-way radio transmitter. It transmits data, and they can dictate. All you have to do is research smart meters. They can dictate when you're up, when you're in bed, what appliance you're using, what type of movie you're watching on television. In real time, they can ascertain not only what type of show you're watching, but what you are watching. They know whether or not you were home the day of the murder, etc. Now, we weren't giving an option to opt out to receive these smart meters. They were arbitrarily and systematically placed on homes, and that person, every person has a smart meter. You are being monitored. It's not, they only monitor those that are suspected of crimes. That is a lie. This is Big Brother. Every American, law-abiding citizen, true patriot should be alarmed at what I'm telling you. This is not a conspiracy or a thought process. This is a fact. In order for this system to maintain, to be able to utilize the services of private contractors, and by the way, the Department of Homeland Security, DHS fusion centers in each state that has that federal emblem and all that is not a federal agency. No more than the Federal Reserve being anything but federal. Neither is FedEx. That's not federal either. That is a play on words. That harkens back to what took place with the Rockefellers on Jekyll Island. when we start talking about controlling people and controlling the money, if they can control the purse strings of any country or nation, they can rule that country or nation. It's ruled by money. What controls this evil, criminal organization is hundreds of millions of taxpayers' dollars. My name is on a list that I'll never see. So therefore, if a crime is committed against me, and so many, too many to mention, whether it be a physical crime, whether there's an attempt on my life, someone breaks into my house, shoots the windows out of my vehicle in broad daylight in moving traffic, on and on and on. And by the way, those things have happened to me. I've reported them. The local sheriff's department, the state of Mississippi, the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation, the Mississippi Attorney General has elected to not pursue any charges. When I have laid out time and time again that my constitutional rights, my civil liberties have been purposely, willfully, and maliciously and systematically violated, they had no interest in prosecution. Why is that? Once your name is on that list, you are viewed as a target, and they overlook it, they dismiss it, they will not prosecute it. That means they have okayed and green-lighted your constitutional and civil rights to be violated. When we had the Civil Rights Bill that was passed in the 60s, that was because a certain color and a race of people were treated as subhuman. As a matter of fact, in the 60s, the African American was treated, well, animals were treated better than the African American. And thanks to people like Dr. King that laid their life down. Dr. King was stalked. Thanks to J. Edgar Hoover and the FBI, and we know now with the FBI files that they bugged his room, they listened to his phone calls, and they made comment about his extramarital affairs. I don't think it was the FBI's business about who is sleeping with who. Right now, the fusion centers, they make that their business. They are the reason that we have a sex trafficking problem in America. Not just child sex trafficking, but human trafficking, drug trafficking. These people control this. Now, that's a tall statement. But when you have catalogs of proof, when you have video and photographic and documentation that substantiate those things, you would think, give it to us, we're going to stop it. This is only made possible, folks, by law enforcement. When you call and you report a crime that's committed against you by your perpetrator and by the stalkers, you're simply feeding information to the enemy. It's the fox guarding the hen house. That's why they never take you serious. That helps them kind of sharpen up on what they need to do, what's working and what's not working. How do you identify who is a perpetrator / stalker that is close to you? They come in every shape, form, and size. But I'm going to give you the simple version that may help you. You're going to have one version of stalker, perpetrator, that is a friend or that's associated in your circle, that as you tell them about crimes and things that are going on, the drones following you or whatever they're doing, and they do all these bizarre things in hope that you do report them, because they're seeing things. They can give you the crazy card and easily dismiss that, and that's their excuse. We take them serious, that guy's crazy, she's crazy. But before that started, they had the smear tactics. people at work started, you lost your job, rumors, lies, false and fake set up arrests, fake convictions. All of this stuff is part of the breakdown of the target to discredit them. They isolate them, now they're alone, but they still have people within their circle. Those are the people that remain in your circle. Now, we do make exceptions to some family members, maybe your mother or father, but this rules no one out. Understand that the frontline crash dummy, because the police are telling them that we're going to say it's against the law and all that. We are the law. You're okay. We're not going to arrest you. My personal stalker, more than one time, explained to me in no uncertain terms that he wasn't concerned about anything as it pertained to destruction or theft of my property or anything else. He said they're not going to take you serious and they're not going to do a thing to me. He let me know not only that that was the deal, but where it came from and who green-lighted that. I don't hesitate to believe that information because I've reported it to that agency and they have been true to word and absolutely systematically denied ignored every complaint. Now, you're up close perpetrator. They'll always be the ones that will listen to you, yeah, and go along with it, but then give them a day or two, and then they'll make a comment in front of you or to you with other people. Oh, Richard there thinks he's seeing drones and stuff. And so they start making a joke of it. They start laughing. Then the gaslighting starts to make the target question his own sanity. You said this. You just told me this. No, I didn't. Well, enough of that. You said, well, maybe I did. I'm confused. Don't fall for it. It's a lie. When someone's telling you and dismissing you as being mentally unstable, after you have, and you've known these people and they've seen it with you and they understand it, but yet they're telling you that you might need help or something. They're perps. They are perpetrators. They're criminals. They're stalkers. That could be a husband and wife. That could be a family member. In a lot of cases, it is. Remember, this is evil. This evil scheme of control is nothing new. It's been around since the beginning of time. Then you have your other group. These are your upper level perpetrators, I like to call them. These are the ones that can carry themselves a little better than the crackheads and the morons and the products of incest. These are individuals that may have experienced a slight bit of success in their life and what have you, their education a little better, so they're able to articulate and persuade better, and oftentimes they come across as they themselves are targeted individuals. This is what I want to warn every targeted individual about. Friends, there are more organizations and people out there that are posing to be for the TI and claim to be TIs that are nothing but perps. They're so good at what they do, so many TIs have bought it hook, line, and sinker. Now they've got ringers. They'll have a group on Facebook and they'll have a group of followers that they themselves have been embedded, and they're providing mainstream information, and they look like one of the good guys, and they're backing and always saying good things and positive things about the main perp that has the page. That's what we call a ringer. That's what they use in sideshows and carnivals. These are the guy that pops the balloons. He hits them and he wins all this stuff. See how easy it is? It's all a ringer job. It's smoke and mirrors. It's Barnum and Bailey's 3-ring circus. Now, these higher level perps love to bait TIs into their web pages, their Facebook discussion groups, and they spend all kinds of time digging deep and deep and deep into whether it be mind control to genital ticklers, cock whisperers, or whatever you want to call them. And folks, that may be a little crass, but it's the truth. And the TI is so ready to get some answers about how, who, how. While all that's going on, guess what's happening? You're missing what's really going on. That's a diversion, that's a distraction. Yes, they have technology, can do all of these things. So what if you've been able to prove how they're using dues or anything else and how you can block them and everything? So we have spent 5 years and we have finally figured out how to block and stop that. But they're still in business. And while you were doing all that, how many thousands of people have taken their lives, lost their home, become homeless, lost their family, their children, have absolutely been driven insane, cannot function in society as a normal person because they have been systematically tortured with these weapons, physically and electronically. So what we're doing here with this association is a national effort to cut the head off of the snake. Now the snake has a head. That is called DHS and FEMA. Well, let's put it this way. President Donald Trump and Attorney General Barr have called it the deep state. And folks, this is the definition of the deep state. How are they funded? Taxpayer dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars. Because all of these people on the watch list, and they're involved in all this criminal activity and all this, and this is where all resources are going, and we're having to contract it out. We're giving grants to volunteer fire departments like in Alpine, Mississippi, where they have been using light, strobes, ultraviolet lights, and torturing me with overexposure and causing damage, sleep deprivation, which triggers into hallucination and illusions, and that causes a person's rapid decline, ultimately drives them into a state of committing suicide. That is the end game. These people at that fire department, and I have given samples of the light strobing. They have sensors and cameras when I walk out of my house. Everything, they're monitoring my every move, and they're using all of these no touch from the comfort of their home or office, and they're playing games with my life. I went live showing you how the vehicles and the trucks and all this were in this holistic team effort of brighting. It's a program where they bright continuously with their bright LED lights, which causes, again, damage to the eyes, the retina, confusion, and can cause, and does cause, serious accidents. The National Highway Safety Association, use your search engines, folks. This is not a suspected problem. This is a government documented problem. The American Medical Association lines it out. Harvard Medical School lines it out. Now, if you say, well, Harvard Medical School, American Medical Association, they're just a bunch of wackos. Really? What we're talking about is substantiated in spades. I can prove it, and will be proving in spades, of the local fire department and the sheriff's department using the very tactics that only one absolute outcome could be expected from these tactics, and that is to cause serious injury or death. When you're blinding people and forcing them off the interstate, watch the live feed I had the other day, and you'll see at 80 miles an hour where I'm forced and pinned and boxed in repeatedly. You can't make that up. You see the lights. You see how they ride my bumper. I showed you the back and front. You can't make this stuff up. They do it nationwide. It's a national effort. Now, if you're wondering, is that person a perp or not? Friend, let me tell you. I'm gonna make it easy for you. Real easy. Figure out when you think your targeting started. And all the way to right now. If you've met someone online that claims to be a TI and you are forging a relationship and you meet up with them personally and you start being friends, 99.9% of the time, they're perps. Why is that? As a targeted individual, your ecosystem, your world is controlled by someone else, not you. They put who in that. Sometimes you'll a blind hog to find an acre, but they'll get it. They can't get to everybody, but they control that group of associates that you have close to you. The front line ones are moronic, low educated, no backbone, no education, low IQ fools, and they're criminals. And they come up to you, they want to be your friend. Well, let me tell you what, folks. You say, well, I don't know about that. I met somebody. I'm not going to argue that. There are always exceptions to the rule. I know this firsthand. There's exceptions to the rule. In order for that exception, for that rule to be made, folks, do you realize what I had to go through in order for me to circumvent the rule and make an exception? I had to put my life at risk for 1,500 miles of traffic and perpetual stalking, being forced off the highway. Every trick known to man is what I had to lay on the line. My life, not for me, because I'm not taking this personal. It's not about me. It's about every targeted individual in this country. People are hurting and dying. This time tomorrow, there'll be more targeted individuals buried. Their story never told, where they were having problems, or they were having, we don't really know what happened. He committed suicide, she blew her brains out, so forth and so on. That's heart-wrenching. That's what motivates me for what I believe in and what I stand for. I don't need an army, because I am backed by God, and God has an army. And he's not going to let one thing happen to one of his own. And I'm one of his own. Like it or not, I'm one of his own. Folks, and I'm speaking that with authority. I experience no fear in what I do. I am so committed to helping the TI and bringing these criminals to justice. Folks, I will die right now, tomorrow, anytime for what I believe in. I believe in that Constitution. I believe in the Civil Rights Bill. I believe in that American flag. I believe that this is a great country. I believe that this country was founded on godly principles. And I believe that those fake Christians and these fake patriots waving Trump flags, and I'm a Trump supporter. But I'm telling you, just because they've got a Trump flag waving in their yard doesn't make anything, no more than if you hang 50 crosses around your neck does not mean you're a blood-bought, born-again Christian. It's all for show. It's jewelry. It's a costume. The Klan is still alive and well. They don't wear the pointed hoods anymore. They're called Citizens Corp, Task Force, Neighborhood Watch, Cops, and all of this. If you see it, tell it. It's perfect. It's a snitch lover's haven. But once you're in the program, ladies and gentlemen, you don't get to check out. You don't get to say, you know, this torturing people, tormenting and doing this to people, they do it with their own children in the car. Do you realize that your handler and these people sitting back in the ivory towers that are getting the checks and the money rolling in and sending these grants to these podunk fire departments, they could give two tinkers down where you and your whole family dies. You're nothing but a number and a means to the end of them making money and keep the money coming in. You are no, they may tell you you're somebody, but it means nothing. You're perp. That upper level perp will be convincing. That everything is going to look right. It's going to be perfect. They're beautiful and they're wonderful at imitators. You see, they're counterfeits. They're fake, and they're there for one reason. You'll confide in this person finally. They're going to find your soft spots, your hard spots. They're going to find out, and in real time, they're going to be feeding that information to their handler. When they're in their house and they're playing with their phone or checking their email and stuff, you can bet your sweet ass, and you even looking at the phone, that there's a handler on the other end listening and watching in real time. That's what's going on, folks. That's why you're going to continue to have problems. That's why you're still, how did they do? Quick question, I just gave you the answer. If you want to make friends, I suggest you do this. Pray to God. Accept Jesus Christ. And folks, let me tell you, that's the only friend you'll ever need. And once you make a friend with God, and you're in His hand, ladies and gentlemen, He'll make sure, as long as you hold on to His hand, He's not going to let these other people come in and do one thing to you. And He will draw other people, and you will start being able to build a support network of people that are good people that have been tormented and targeted just like you, and that are just as interested as you are as bringing these criminals to court. We're going to do that. We're taking them to federal civil court. We're working on that right now. This automatically triggers several things. Class action status. How do you achieve class action status? It's real simple, ladies and gentlemen. If a case brought before any district court is viewed as affecting people in other cities, towns, and states, then that is a class of people, hence class action. That means it could possibly affect people all over this country. Therefore, every targeted individual in this country will be a part of the benefits, because we want everything. We want all our marbles back. We want to take back every single thing the devil has taken from us. And the second thing is we will demand U.S. Attorney Barr and the President, and what they're doing now, you can rest assured, the dominoes will fall. People will go to prison. People will lose their, listen, I'm not talking about a few people. You little folks organizing these churches and community centers and all this fake bogus stuff and think that you're free from this, you are just as culpable as the godfather of this himself. It's an even deal. It's like robbing a bank and you're driving a getaway car. Do you know that the guy robbing the bank and the guy driving the car, it's the same charge. Everybody gets the same deal. They don't piecemeal that out. If there's 5 in the car, all of you gonna get the same charge in the same time. That's called a conspiracy. Federal law says where 2 or more people conspire to threaten, intimidate, and harass another individual, that is a felony. Folks, period. If I don't say any more. But how about the hundreds and thousands of fraudulent entries they made about people, all that was fake, that they're saying in order to justify bilking America for millions and millions of dollars when this country is in debt. We're going through a horrific crisis. Businesses are closing because of COVID-19. People do not know where their next meal's coming from. The money pipeline has been drained by the fusion centers and law enforcement. They're not all bad, but are the FBI involved? Yes, Secret Service, CIA, they all have their hands in it. The FBI, CIA, Secret Service, do you know where they get their information when they're wanting to know about any individual? Oh, they're running an NCIC on them, or they got a special. No. All they have to do is hit the fusion center button, and honey, they got everything they want. What you want to know, what color socks he's got on today, we got that. They don't ask you, well, did you obtain all of this information legally? They don't ask that question. Thank you for the information, and everybody gets paid, everybody's happy, and whatever narrative they give you about the criminal, that's what the fake news gives, but we never get the real story. Don't get on these social media sites trying to find people to chum up with or for a midnight booty call or anything else. If it's worth your life or your freedom or your peace and joy, go ahead and do that. Right now is be a good time to abstain from trying to join the buddy club, because folks, they know you're isolated because they did that. They know that they have you're ostracized, and they know that you won't. It's human nature to be around other human beings. They'll send them. But I'm going to tell you, these are wolves in sheep's clothing. Not sometime, but every damn time. I hate people say, well, I'm just going to wait and see. Wait and see. I did it. Time after time after time. You're talking to a professional loser here. I've done it many times. I know what I'm talking about. That's how I can speak on it with authority. Don't do it. That's my advice for the TI today. I know at North Mississippi Anti-Gang Stalking Association, or my channel, United States Anti-Gang Stalking Association, I can speak for that and that alone. I'm not speaking against anybody else. You can rest assured, this old boy here hadn't got but one agenda. And I just told you what my agenda is. I'm not going to back up. I'm not going to shut up. I'm going to get up and get away from it. I'm going to it until we get results, until we hold them accountable to the laws of this country, and they'll have to answer to this country and to our court system and to our justice system, and they're going to understand what due process is. We've been denied due process, but they're going to get their chance at due process. I don't think they're going to like the outcome. Till next time, God bless you.